So what if you already have a prospective buyer? Are we able to help you? The fact is that several times a year, we have people who approach us who already have the buyer, which for us is helpful because it shortens the time of marketing, but generally the work is the same. And they can actually be tricky. Oftentimes these situations include it's a key employee that has an interest in buying the business, or it's a competitor, or it could just be somebody who's aware of the business and found it directly through the seller, and they're wondering how to proceed. So we work with these people on a regular basis to help them complete the transaction they need. In our business transactions, confidentiality is key, and it's really hard to sell something without telling anybody. So we're always walking this fine line. But especially when the seller already has the buyer, some of that confidentiality has already been breached because it's not a third-party transaction. So in those situations, the confidentiality is crucial, and so some of the ways we deal with that, let's say for example that there's a competitor who wants to purchase somebody's business. Oftentimes we'll draft non-solicitation documents where the buyer or prospective buyer is agreeing that they will not contact the customers of the seller. Non-disclosure documents, of course, are a must in our industry. There's a lot of things that are necessary step by step to disclose the information that's necessary for the buyer to make the right decision, protect the interests of the seller from a confidentiality standpoint. From that point forward, it's very much like our other transactions where we're involved with drafting the related purchase agreements, the negotiations related to those purchases, helping the buyer to obtain the financing. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when a seller comes to us for assistance with a person that they already have that wants to buy their business, it's because they've been declined for financing once or twice or several times and just simply decided it wasn't possible. And there are lots of times where we're able to get the financing necessary to complete that transaction just because it's what we do every day and we know what's necessary. We have clients, when they have a prospective buyer, that ask about a reduced commission, and we are happy to work with them on a reduced commission in many cases because them bringing the buyer actually reduces the amount of time that we're marketing the business and interviewing buyers to find the right fit. And the reality is that the work oftentimes is very much the same, so it can shorten the time frame of the transaction, but the details that still need to be attended to are similar to a transaction with an arm's length buyer. Most buyers and sellers have not ever been through the process of selling or buying a business before, and even when the seller already has a prospective buyer, those details are crucial to make sure that the business transaction is closed effectively. So we walk the parties that are involved in the transaction through our really proprietary closing checklist process. That closing checklist document at the end of a closing provides really a record of everything that's occurred throughout the transaction and how it was addressed. We find that oftentimes our clients go back to that document years later just to refresh their memory on something that they did or when it was handled or how it was handled. So it's very, very valuable in the effective completion of a sale. If you want more information about working with us, you can reach us via email at info@WCIBusinessBrokers.com, on our website at WCIBusinessBrokers.com, toll free at 1-800-569-8974, or locally here in Arizona, 928-445-1144.